So, ladies and gentlemen, this session brings together voices that are deeply invested in rebuilding our foundation. So, please join me in welcoming onto our stage. Put your hands together for Satish H.C., EVP and Chief Delivery Officer at Infosys, Sanjay Chalke, CEO, India, Capgemini, and guiding this entire conversation, we have with us Nitin Bhatt, Senior Partner and Technology Sector Leader, EY India. Over to you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. That's great. Welcome to the session on reinventing tech services. But I wanted to start, let me start with a real life story. A friend of mine asked very recently a large language model the following question. And the question was, I need to take my car to the car wash. The car wash is 50 meters away. Should I walk or should I drive? The LLM responded, if it's just 50 meters away, you can walk. And my friend immediately texted me saying, oh my God, I can feel AGI coming. So for those of us who've been living in fear and uncertainty and doubt about AI taking over the world, and indeed the world of tech services, I think we can take a deep and a long breath. But on a serious note, this moment in time is different. This moment is different because AI is just not automating tasks, it's now re-architecting workflows and indeed work autonomously. This moment is different because AI is breaking the decades-long linkage between headcount growth and revenue growth. And this moment is different because AI is triggering revenue and margin erosion risk both at the same time. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This moment is not that different. If we look at all the technology shifts that have happened over the last 50 years, the winners were not the firms with the best technology and the best tools. The winners were the firms that were able to reinvent at speed, change their operating models, rewire their talent, cannibalize their revenue pools before someone else did. And AI does not change that leadership challenge. It simply compresses that decision window and raises the cost of delay. If we look at the revenue opportunity before us, I believe it is significant. As AI diffusion scales, tech services will play a very critical role across the engineering, the orchestration, the governance, and the output layers, and indeed the outcome and the value layers. And this is across both the legacy modernization as well as the plumbing pieces, where AI can do more for our customers in reimagining business architectures, in building entirely new businesses that are secure and responsible by design, and in unlocking net new revenue streams by a focus on context and domain and platforms, which I believe will be the new moat going forward. So what we thought we'd do today with our colleagues here is talk about this reinvention in three buckets. The first bucket is really zooming out and looking at this very strategically and saying, if we had to reinvent tech services, what would be the most critical imperatives? The second bucket is around the execution of those imperatives, the hows. How do we make it happen? And the third is around the risks and critical success factors. It's my privilege to be moderating this panel with two industry stalwarts. So without further ado, let's dive in. If I may, Satish, I'll start with you. Infosys did an investor presentation about 2 weeks ago, which I thought was a terrific event. More than 2 hours, laid it out with full transparency, a very authentic way of telling the world that this is our reinvention plan. I guess my question for you, Satish, is if you had to look at the top 2 or 3 business model changes that you'd need to make to pivot from a headcount-driven model to one where the market will reward AI native and outcome-based ways of thinking, what would those be?
Yeah. So I think first, we're changing the way services are being done. We are reinventing our talent. But as we do this, the near-term value creation will be through the labor economics or the labor lift. But eventually, the labor lift will lead to the economic lift. So I think the areas that we are working on is largely how do you transform your ability to deliver outcomes through how you change your services, and how do you do it with a combination of engineering, intelligence, which is AI, and then at the intersection of domain. So it's how do you bring all of this together and create new service models, which will, it may initially start as a labor lift, but eventually will lead to reimagining an enterprise, its core processes, its products, its experiences, eventually delivering the economic lift.
Terrific. Quick follow-on on that. 70% of our industry is 70 or thereabouts is T&M. I think with Infosys, you have a higher FP, about 60%. And there's a lot of talk about pivoting to outcome-based. How practical is that, given that if you look at BFSI, they all want T&M? So is this more academic and intellectual, or are you really thinking that this pivot from an FP and a T&M base to an outcome, a true outcome-based architecture is going to happen sooner than later?
Yeah. So, look, I think in our industry, outcomes are not new. We have always been doing it over a period of time. But I think last couple of years, we have taken a leap of faith on what is out of the possible and committed to outcomes. Now we have learned enough through those experiences, and now we are very clearly seeing gains in terms of our ability to deliver above the line gains, which is true economic value for business, or even below the line gains. And I'm not talking about services productivity. I'm talking about functional productivity, operational agility, and so we are gaining experience in terms of how to deliver outcomes. So I think the pivot to outcomes is not that difficult, but I think last couple of years we probably did this with a leap of faith, but today I think we have started to do this with a huge conviction that we are able to deliver this. It's going to be easier for us to transition to a future where we will be delivering either above the line or below the line based on the experiences that we have gained over the last couple of years.
Great, thank you. Sanjay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is really not the elephant in the room because everyone's talking about it, but no one knows how to do it, which is scaling AI. So lots of people say 2026 will be the year when AI moves from experiments and pilots to scale. I was curious, what is Capgemini's strategy to scale AI across its client base?
Thank you, Nitin. First of all, to demystify AI scaling. AI scaling is not only about intelligence, but it's about integrating it in all layers of business. A true enterprise-grade AI emerges only when it's integrated with high-value workflows, which means truly integrating it with process, domain, data, and the IT ecosystem. Now, AI cannot be just an innovation theater. Organizations have to move it from proof of concept to proof of impact, by the way. The last few weeks of development, and we all knew there would be an emergence of a lot of tools and models which will continue to come. But what's more important is that we all stay true of embedding that intelligence and integrating it with business. So to weave a fabric of operations process to actually drive drive the benefits. Actually, in Capgemini, we looked at about 7 levers which can help you do an AI impact or help you impact, create that impact and scale AI. 7, out of those 7, 4, of course, we all know. First is the infrastructure and the technology. Second is the architect, basically the enterprise process architect. Third is the enterprise business data. Fourth is very important, that's talent and capability, which we all know, but there are other 3 which are important, and that is about standards and value metrics. What is going to drive your outcome, by the way. The 6th one is more importantly, again, risk and governance. And the last is about accountability and the approval process which will work. I think if you sort this out, it is very important that the AI scalability can happen. I think we have a Raise platform. I'm sure Satish has a platform. It's just not a framework. It is about a software toolkit which can agentify itself if we embed all of this together.
Thank you. A question that's building on both the first and second points, and Satish, this is for you. One of the key reinvention priorities that all tech services companies are beginning to think about, because it's evolving still, is how we think about the future of commercial models. So while AI compresses the effort, it does add other costs, like tokens and compute and guardrails, et cetera. So we're very curious how you're thinking about your unit economics and how you're thinking about pricing in this new world.
Yeah. So I'll take that question and also connect it with my previous answer. So whatever pricing models we had till now is also relevant, because as I said, there is a big pivot from our clients to shift towards outcome-based pricing. But there are also new pricing models that are, coming up. For example, there is a view that maybe we should price it based on tokens. If a client would ask me, I would not recommend them to go down that path, because it's like in the erstwhile days we used to do ticket-based pricing. There's no incentive for you to do the right thing. You'll end up creating the wrong incentive model. There is experiment with how do we build autonomy-based pricing. That to me is still a input-based model, and still it's early days for us to put a map on maturity and the metrics to kind of make it work in a scientific way. I would still think largely the way we will engage with our enterprise clients will be a combination of maybe a few new models like autonomy-based pricing, or the traditional models of fixed price, outcome-based pricing, because clients will engage with us in the traditional old ways, which is they will do part of it themselves, they will do part of it with us and with other partners. But what has changed is probably more and more we are seeing clients coming to us and saying, solve the entire problem end to end, because one of the problems in our industry is there is too much of fragmentation. And you will create value with AI only when you break silos. So that is the reason why I believe in the long run, in our industry, the fragmentation will lead to a journey of more and more end-to-end accountability and outcomes. So that is how I see it.
Great. Let's pivot from our reinvention priorities to the hows or the execution of making it happen. There are really 2 key pillars to that. The first pillar is around how we think about delivery transformation, and the second pillar is how we think about talent transformation. So, Satish, let me talk to you about delivery transformation. We all know that AI automates, augments, amplifies, and when you think about transforming how Infosys delivers, how are you thinking about the human plus AI construct coming together now and in the future?
Yeah. So we are simultaneously working on both services transformation and talent transformation. Both of them are linked. I'll connect the dots. More and more work that we do, it is anyway AI amplified. that is unlocking the labor uplift or the productivity uplift. But eventually for that to create sustainable economic value, you have to think about end-to-end life cycle on how you run your business processes. So what we are doing is, on one side, of course, we are done with services transformation. Now the opportunity is, how do you add more and more layers of engineering on top of existing tech stack so that we can move the division of labor from humans to human plus agents? That means we create a layer of encoding. The more you encode how people work, it'll lead for humans and machines to interoperate and understand and work on the same, on the same context, which is where I think in our industry, we will see more and more of depth in engineering. There is a place for depth in engineering in our business model. There is a place for creativity. So in our mind, I think the future will play out as an ambidextrous workforce in our industry. There'll be a part of our talent will be so deep in solving engineering problems, making AI enterprise grade, and making it fit for purpose for the enterprise, whereas our larger workforce in the industry will be powered by or empowered by the stuff that is created by engineers, which will make them go be creative and reimagine the enterprise and societies that we serve. So I think this transformation needs both breadth and depth. So there is talent transformation at play. And then there is, of course, services transformation. And how do you do services with more engineering so that you can spread that load, which is humans are doing today, to be humans plus agents.
Great. Same question for you, but also talk to us a little bit about how you're thinking about making investments, not just from a talent perspective, but also from an assets and IP, because all of this together will be the new value creator going forward.
So let me talk about talent first.
Yeah.
And I think you spoke about now and future. Simply put, for us, it's about now, new, and next, how we look at it. Today, we have businesses which are in now, which we almost all of us have a lot of farm of that. So we are working with the businesses and people to actually train and upskill them to move it to the next. We are some businesses which are already on the cusp of moving to the next. This is where we are helping people add value into the future. So we continue to train them. I look at this journey in three parts. First, our GenAI campus and labs continue to train people into more AI core principle skills as well as AI masters and advanced courses, which will continue to happen, by the way. The second is the mid-layer talent, which is very important in this AI-augmented world, where you will need more executionists who would work with both human and AI together, because you'll need more mature hands. And then the third part is about how do we quickly close the gap between now, new, and next, because today the gap is huge, but with the tools and the other models coming in, so we continue to keep an eye on that. I think the overall talent playbook will be reinvented. It will not be the same what we have seen before. As Satish said, more ambidextrous skills will come into play, and we will need people not only knowing coding and release management, etc. We will need people who knows how to converse with agent, who will then code, and actually they would then add value into domain and more futuristic value what is needed. So I think the value chain is going to move as we look into talent. On the asset side, I think more tools and platforms are coming in. I spoke about integration in my first answer. I think it's very important that both the Gen AI and the agentic AI tools, what we have, need to start integrating with each other. I think that's where the work will happen by SIs, so that we fast forward this journey and get ready to use some of these platforms.
Satish, this is a huge transformation for the entire industry. We've been doing what we've been doing for a long time. So while we have a roadmap, it will be fraught with all kinds of risks. If you were to step back and think about the top 2 or 3 strategic or operational risks that you have thought through and how you're mitigating them, would love to hear your thoughts.
So I'll mention two things. I think we all understand today the rate at which the technology is evolving to the rate of diffusion in the enterprise is one of the hardest challenges to crack so that adoption goes up significantly, creating value. So the biggest roadblock for that is, I think, mindset and culture. One of the things that we have to be very purposeful about and orchestrate is how do you handle change and culture? It's very easy to build a new breed of workforce which can think like this, who doesn't have the debt of tried and tested ways of working. So I think change management and culture change and pivoting to not doing incremental, but actually go back to first principles thinking and reimagine the way things can be done or what is the art of the possible. I think those are some of those nuances, and the hardest change will be at the leadership level, because it's very easy to activate at the, below the organization. It's hardest at mid-level and above to activate because there is a lot of, wired ways of working and experience that has to be unlearned and learned. So I would say, let's focus on mid to senior management, because if we can activate them, then they can activate and orchestrate their organization and teams.
Thank you, and I'm so glad you mentioned culture and the word mindset, because there's a lot of talk about tooling and reskilling and tool sets, but and someone very recently made a statement that IT services companies will prioritize profits over people. I would, and this has been a people business for so long, so I would love to get your thoughts, Sanjay, and how you're thinking about making this pivot, but then making sure that we take care of our people.
So absolutely a lot of change which is happening, and it is not skill set change which we should look at, it's actually behavioral change. Organizations should look at it as a change management approach, especially using emotional intelligence so that we can deal with this change. Look, there is a lot of anxiety out, and people needs to be, that's the reason, shepherded, counseled, and communicated about what organizations are doing, by the way. There needs to be people plus AI fusion teams which could help manage this change. There is a lot of passive innovation resistance from people which needs to be managed. I think they need to be counseled that this change is good. I think from us, or rather I think, and in Capgemini we look at the critical factors for this is, and we call it create. C is about curiosity and helping them learn and take this journey. R is about rewards and recognition of that capability. I think it's important that they should understand that they can do this. E is about, of course, empathy and developing that understanding, because without that, probably will not be able to take this journey forward. A is about human AI ecosystem. Today, the agent trusts us, but the human doesn't trust agents, by the way. And we should learn to coexist, and that collaboration needs to take care, and that's the reason this is very important. T is talent protection, very, very important in this. We are training, we are investing. The talent needs to understand what the organizations are doing. And the last is, of course, E. We have to ensure career path. There is going to be a new hierarchy, new career paths and definition for these skills. So I think it is going to be 360 degrees. As I said, the talent playbook is going to reinvent, and we have to take care of people.
Terrific. We have a couple of minutes, and usually we are out of time and unable to take questions, but we do have a couple of minutes, so I don't know who's the person we need to check, but if there are questions, we'd love to take some questions from the audience.
So, great discussion, and there's a total shift in terms of what you are giving to clients from, say, time and material to outcome-based. So have you tested it out, or sort of a proof of concept that the results are as per client expectations and the profits you were making earlier, would it be at par, less, or more?
I think, see, no value gets delivered without, testing whether it's relevant to the client. We are taking a higher order risk today. In the past, when we used to deliver outcomes, I think the risk was a lot lesser. Today, given the nature of the opportunity, I think we are embarking on a larger transformation. So, in some parts, when we are taking that leap, either you're doing it on the basis of your past experience, but taking a higher commercial risk, because this change is not just about what we deliver. Remember, what we're delivering is also going to significantly transform the way an enterprise is wired and the way it works. So in that case, in that sense, we are taking a higher risk in our business today, and it is inevitable, because if you want to tap the art of the possible opportunity, you have to take a leap of faith on some of this and deliver. I think the risk is definitely higher than what we used to do in the past, but if you can't underwrite it, then you're really not, saying you are achieving what is out of the possible. So I think the very nature of the opportunity in business today will compel us to take that risks. In some cases, the risk will be shared, because clients will say, I have a multi-year roadmap and work with me, and it may be a series of interim milestones. In some cases, it may be an end outcome that you're delivering. So there are ways to de-risk this, but all I'm trying to say is, I think given where the industry is, we have to get very comfortable in delivering outcomes, because anyway, AI is shrinking time and effort. So we are not going to be relevant by just doing bits and pieces. But I think we have to go after on what is out of the possible. And there are enough successes that we have had. But of course, we will take some risks. Yeah.
We'll take one more.
Thank you for your insights. My question is, what would you like to say to young people who might be thinking of starting a career in tech? What are your top 2 or 3 suggestions given the major changes happening in the landscape at the moment? Young people joining technology?
I guess it's we are one of the fewer organizations which we have kept the faith, or rather still goes out into the colleges, and we continue to recruit those numbers. So we are not going to basically stop. So I want to let you know that. But more importantly, I think we always tell them that, it is about skill. As I said, when we go into colleges today, we tell the people it is not just about the basic skills what they learn. I think we want them to actually really now work on more problem solving, not just on the coding side of it. We're also telling them it's not about getting more awed about what is AI and what it will do to the jobs, etc. We do tell them that there's always going to be an opportunity for young minds to actually excel more than probably few others. And that's the reason, that's how we continue to motivate.
And if I can add one more thing, I think learn to do engineering, whether you're doing software engineering or product engineering, without AI and with AI. It's very important for people to understand both, so that they will be able to fully harness the power of AI in what we do.
Well, I think with that, we come to the end of this session. Satish and Sanjay, thank you so much for your insights. I think it's very clear from the discussion and all that we've heard this morning that the rate of change is extremely high. We all need to be living in a state of what I call healthy paranoia, because the biggest hallucination will not be in our models. I think it'll be in the belief that reinvention can wait. So with that, thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
And of course, gentlemen, a big thank you to each and every one of you. Can you continue? Yes, can you please continue joining us? Because we would like to felicitate you with a token of our appreciation. Could I please request Mr. Ashank Desai, Principal Founder at Mastech Limited and a founding member at NASSCOM, to come and join us. Thank you, sir, for coming and joining and doing the honors. And folks, this is for each and every one of you. As we do finish this felicitation, I'm going to jump straight into another Mentimeter. Once again, gauging what our room feels like. So if you want to get prepared for that and bring your mobile phones out, put your cameras on, because soon we'll have that Mentimeter right here on our screens. And here we are, we're taking a look and we're seeing what defines effective leadership in an always on and disrupted world. We've been talking so much about leadership this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen.